Ladies, please be extra cautious when moving around at night. It's all too easy to become a target for criminals. Fortunately, in this case, a group of young people nearby arrived just in time to rescue her from a robbery. Two reckless men on a motorbike tore into this man's neighborhood, ready to rob. But before danger could even fully descend, he had already drawn his gun in self-defense. Caught off guard, the would-be robbers were struck with sheer panic. So terrified, they abandoned their motorbike and bolted for their lives. These two thugs were in the middle of robbing a driver right on a busy street, when suddenly an off-duty police officer charged in. One of the criminals didn't hesitate for a second. He bolted, leaving his partner behind. Two armed robbers on a motorbike sped straight toward a man walking alone, intent on ambushing and robbing him, but in a jaw-dropping twist, the man took just a split second to disarm them and fire back in self-defense. Startled and outmatched, the thieves immediately turned tail and fled for their lives. A real-life action movie scene brought to life. Two thugs were trying to rob a driver who had just parked his car, when suddenly another vehicle came speeding in and rammed into the criminal's motorbike, rescuing the driver in a dramatic twist. But the crooks weren't ready to give up that easily. The heroic driver gave chase, pushing the confrontation further. Only then did the robbers panic, abandoning their motorbike and fleeing on foot. In Vila Velha, Brazil, a man was robbed right in front of his liquor store. The assailant approached, threatened, and stole the victim's belongings. However, as the robber tried to flee, the victim, who holds a legal firearm permit, fired back, injuring the suspect. Authorities confirmed that the victim acted within his legal right to self-defense. This woman was walking alone when a thug began tailing her, then suddenly lunged from behind in a brutal assault. But just as things were about to turn horrific, a man across the street spotted what was happening and sprang into action. In a flash, he dashed across the road and threw himself into the rescue, a breathtaking act of heroism. A group of young friends were chatting and laughing together, enjoying a carefree moment. when suddenly 2 men appeared from a distance, pretending that their motorbike had broken down. Slowly, they pushed the bike toward the group, cleverly hiding their true intentions. But everything changed the moment they got close. In a sudden and terrifying turn, the 2 men pulled out guns and threatened the group, demanding their money and motorbikes in a brazen robbery attempt. Chaos erupted. But in the midst of it, a brave young man from the group drew his own firearm and fired back in self-defense. One of the attackers was stopped and apprehended on the spot, while the other dropped everything and fled for his life. What started as an ordinary day in a quiet small town quickly turned into a dramatic showdown. An elderly couple had just arrived home and were about to back their car into the garage when a man dressed in black, accompanied by an accomplice, approached with the clear intention of stealing their vehicle. But what they didn't expect was that the older man was more than ready. In a stunning turn of events, the elderly man sprang into action and attacked the would-be thieves. The man in black bolted immediately while his partner, panicked and losing control, accidentally reversed the car in chaos. Realizing his blunder, the terrified thief abandoned the vehicle and fled the scene on foot. A bold act of resistance turned an attempted robbery into a complete disaster for the criminals, and a victory for courage. A swift and decisive act of self-defense by a store owner turned the tables in spectacular fashion, stopping an armed robbery dead in its tracks. In a moment that could rival any action thriller, the owner didn't hesitate. With precision and courage, they confronted the assailant, thwarting the crime before it could escalate. The bold response not only protected the store, but also delivered a striking reminder. Sometimes the hero is the one behind the counter. In Detroit, a failed robbery took place when a victim quickly drew a firearm in self-defense and shot at the suspect, Sanchez Quinn. The incident occurred in front of a store. Quinn and his accomplice were both arrested. As Quinn is currently receiving treatment for his injuries while in custody, his mother has not been allowed to visit him,